You mentioned the COVID stuff before, so we've just witnessed some real drama here with the Australian Test match against England with Pat Cummins. The captain ruled out of the second test because he was a close contact of a positive case after sitting at the table in a restaurant next to this guy. We were seeing AFLW matches being cancelled, no more sport being played in Perth. It's all a bit chaotic over here, and we're a long way behind what the situation is where you're living. What advice would you have for Australian athletes who are trying to manage their lives in what is now becoming a COVID community environment?
Yeah, it's just being smart when you go out. Like over here, they pretty much live with COVID. There's still cases, and obviously there's been a recent spike up the last couple of weeks. We've had staff and players being on isolation. They haven't tested positive, but they're around positive COVID people. And it's more so those people will isolate from anywhere from 5 to 7 days, and once they pass the test, they're back in. But right now, the NBA has some rules in place. Like, as soon as we go to our practice facility, I have to do a COVID rapid test, and I have to wait before that test gets back before I'm even allowed her in the building. And then once I'm in the building, I have to do another test, a more complete test that says I'm okay, and we get that back in 24 hours. And doing 2 tests a day at the moment. I just had a booster shot. Everybody in the NBA, or the staff anyway, had to get the booster shot before December 17th, or there had to be more. You test every day, but we have to test every time that we travel to America, and test again every time we come back to Canada. So it's every road trip that we have to do a dual test, just for the immigration laws of between the border, which is, I've lost count how many times I've tested for COVID.
So how conscious do you have to be then of what you're doing when you have downtime? You can go to the shops, or can go to a bar, or can do whatever you want to do in that probably half-hour window you've got, given how busy you are. How conscious are you of not contracting the virus?
Yeah, well, look, if you go to a restaurant, you'll go to a restaurant with there's not many people sitting close by, and you've got masks on. Everyone wears a mask everywhere they go inside, and even just in the last 3-4 days, just with Brooklyn have broken out with COVID. Even the game before we played Sacramento, the coach is out now with COVID. So we're pretty much at practice with the mask on everywhere. Only the players don't have masks exercising. So yeah, look, you're mindful of it. You don't go into put yourself in harm's way, and you're going to get it at some stage. One would think just with the pure numbers, but you try to just to be smart and make sure you're washing your hands and staying your distance and wearing a mask.
So obviously, the government in Ontario has just announced that there will be a 50% capacity for all venues in Toronto, Ontario, if you have more than 1,000 people. So there's obviously a bit going on over there. It sounds like it's just a way of life now, and that if a player gets it, there's no shame on them. It's just you just have to live with it, and as you said, expect to get it.
Yeah, and the Raptors had a lot of players had it last year. I think they had 7 players, and they had to be isolated, and coach and nurse couldn't coach because staff was in there and they were close contact. So these guys over here are pretty much familiar with it, and it's just if there's symptoms, you go straight away and to get tested, and we try to make sure that you are sick and have symptoms, you're staying away from the team until there's 2 negative tests, and then you're good to go.